This is Sam from Uniondale, and you're tuning into another edition of the Sam I Analyze Show. Folks, fantasy drafts are right around the corner, and it's time to talk about the running backs. How do you attack them? How do you attack drafting a running back? Let's analyze. Folks, the running back position, yes, there are 32 teams in the NFL. All right, but when it comes to a running back, you don't want to go through the list and say, oh, I didn't get a running back. I got to get a guy who's on the top 10. Oh, I've got to get a guy who's on the top 20. You know, it shouldn't be like that, folks. Fantasy is analysis driven. It's analyzing. It's analyzing. You got to analyze when it comes to fantasy. You've got to be able to analyze situations. You've got to be able to analyze situations. And so I started taking a look, like, who are the top ranked guys? You know, for the last few years, you've got guys who ranked pretty high. Guys who are the usual suspects, although the career of the running back is what, 3 years? That's what they say, or the average football player. You've got your usual suspects, and you've got some changes that happen, right? I'm just going to go off real quick what I'm seeing, the consensus top 10 running backs in a lot of these, mocks and I guess depth charts and magazines. You've got Christian McCaffrey. I mean, that makes sense. Whether he's a Panther, whether he's a 49er, he's a go-to. You've got Bijan Robinson, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, a newcomer in Tony Pollard. I guess Zeke is out of there, so that's why. Derrick Henry, Old Reliable, Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Jacobs, and Nick Chubb. Those guys are the number 10. What do I think about that? Well, for me, when it comes to drafting, you've got to be very careful. Okay, because Christian McCaffrey, he's number 1, but he's got a slew of running backs behind him. And that, to me, that gets me nervous. He's got a slew of running backs behind him. Yes, he does. And that, and to me, obviously, Christian McCaffrey, but the thing is with him, he's the guy, he's the go-to guy. But because of his injury history, you just have to be careful. Make sure you get your hands on handcuffs there and find out who's going to be the main guy over there when it comes to the 49ers. No questions about it. But I think you can't go wrong with going with Christian McCaffrey. And for me, when it comes to running backs, by the way, I take them early. You know, I take them early. My first pick almost always is a running back. I mean, I do multiple mocks. I've done mocks where I've taken a kicker early just to see how would you react? What would your team turn out to be? You've got to do that, by the way. You've got to do that. You've got to do that so that you can maneuver in any situation. You know, obviously, nobody. If you're in a league where they take the kicker first, you got to reassess, okay? But I've done those mocks so that I'm ready for anything. Especially when some leagues that I've done, you only have 60 seconds to make a pick. Hurry up. You know, you know what it is. The beeping, the doot, hurry up. I'm telling you, you got to be ready. So for me, I look at this top 10, and right off the bat, I've got problems, right, with it. Christian McCaffrey, I'll give you the nod. Austin Eckler, to me, if you go Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, you can't go wrong. For me, if I have the number 1 pick, though, I'm going Austin Eckler all day. He's a guy who, for me, behind him, you don't have to worry about him. He splits carries per se, but he's the guy, right? He's the guy. Same thing with McCaffrey. He's still going to be the guy. And so I think those two guys are going to be the consensus 1 and 2. A guy for me that who I also believe he's in the top 10, but should be higher, is Tony Pollard, man. Tony Pollard is a go-to. He's a monster. He's a beast. He's a monster and he's a beast. No question about it. So, I mean, for me, I'm going Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, another workhorse. I think he stays healthy. He's going to also be in the top 5. He's going to be in the top 5. And obviously, Nick Chubb is top 10, but I'm going Nick Chubb to round out the top 5 guys. Now, for me, guys, to me, this, and I'm looking at the situation. Two guys I'm staying far away from. They've got Jonathan Taylor up here as a top guy. I'm staying away from him. I'm staying away from him. I'm staying away from the Colts situation and the headache that he's causing over there. I don't know what's going on over there. You want to take Jonathan Taylor? I think he's going to drop. I think he's going to drop. And if you have the courage to take a Jonathan Taylor, just make sure that you've got backups and right. So I would not listen. I've got, I believe it's the 6th pick in one league, and Jonathan Taylor, I anticipate, will be there. I'm passing right past him. Nope, I'm not taking him. I am not taking Jonathan Taylor. There's too many red flags there. So I consider Jonathan Taylor a bust to me, fantasy wise, and also Rams Cam Akers. Cam Akers, if Cam Akers is your first running back drafted, you're in a world of trouble. I'm not going with that. Now, so for me, they've got Bijan Robinson as a top 3, top 5 guy, and I'm worried about that. Here's why. He's got a guy in Cordell Patterson who, when he plays, is a beast. Tyler Aguilar I call him Aguilar. What is it, Algeria? Whatever it is. They split the carries so much, and I know Bijan, he came out, he was drafted. They're saying he's going to impress like Breece Hall did last year. So we will see. Just if you're going to draft him, be very cautious. Go get a Cordell Patterson. Make sure you have his handcuff. Make sure you have his handcuff. Now, for me, guys that, and I told you, I gave you my busts, right? Guys that I believe that if you want, like I said, you draft get your quality running backs early is my thing. Get your quality running backs early, because and I think, look, you've got guys like your old reliables. Like I said, you've got the guys like Nick Chubb. I'm staying far away from Derrick Henry. I think I thought last year you were going to start seeing decline. If Derrick Henry is there, I'm passing on him. Now, look, for me, guys who are not like, who are known yet per se, my sleepers, 2 of my sleepers, James Cook, Dalvin Cook's younger brother for the Bills. I think he's going to be the man there. Make sure you get Damian Harris, formerly of the Patriots, because I think he's going to be splitting carries. If Cook struggles, that's the guy who's going to slide right in. And I like Tampa Bay's Rachaad White. I really do. I like him. I like him a lot. But there's also, for me, another sleeper is and this is a guy who's always in my mind. I always get him on my team. So Raheem Mostert, I think he's a guy he's the number 1 for the Dolphins. And last year was Myles Gaskins. I've had Myles for the last 2 years. He's a 3rd string now. Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert have taken that over. And for me also, a top 10 guy, Ramondre Stevenson. He's got a great situation in front of him. A great situation in front of him. Zeke Elliott right now looks like an old lineman. He does. And I think he stayed on the free agent market because he's not him anymore. Another guy to look out for, Cardinals, James Conner. Great situation. Great situation. He's going to be the main guy. However, again, Kyler Murray's situation with the ACL, I don't know how that's going to look like. They're probably going to force feed the ball to James Conner. If he's got a good situation, but monitor that. And I like the Texans' Dameon Pierce. I think he's going to be the workhorse over there. The Panthers, Miles Sanders as well. I mean, this is if, again, you can't just go off the list and say, I need a running back. Let me see, 32 teams. Who should I get? You don't do that. Now, guys that I'm looking at, that I would definitely look at, Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco. I drafted him. I had him on a stash. It's finally going to be his year. Khalil Herbert, I like him as well. And then you've got the Lions, Rook, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's got Dave Montgomery behind him, so make sure you get his handcuff. But I like his situation also. And Alexander Madison, I like his situation with the Vikings as well. I think that's why they got rid of Dalvin Cook, because when Dalvin got hurt, this guy went to work. And also Seattle's Kenneth Walker. Now, rule of thumb for me, you're a Jet fan, Sam. Why no Jets? I'm staying far away from any Jet running back. Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, I get it. They look great. But the Jets running back room is full of talent. They're going to split carries, and you're going to be frustrated every Sunday. I'm sorry. Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall, you want to do what people have been doing for years when it came to Green Bay in drafting Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon? Then do that. But you're going to have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful in drafting any Jet running back. The same applies to me when it comes to the Eagles. The Eagles room. The Eagles room is stacked. Be very, very cautious, folks. You don't just want to just draft guys just because. You don't want to do that. And I can pull up the Eagles right now. Let me do that real quick. The Eagles depth chart is ridiculous. DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny, Kenneth Gainwell. You got to be careful because they're going to split carries, and Rashad Penny can definitely produce. And I did. Let me just go real quick before closing out here. I didn't mention the 49ers depth chart, right? You've got Christian McCaffrey, but Elijah Mitchell is good as well. They've got a deep room. They've got a deep room also. So stay away. Stay away from teams like the Jets, like the, the only guy that I would take is McCaffrey, but Elijah Mitchell is going to get carries. So read the room, folks. You've got to be able, when it comes to especially the running backs, it's not a deep room like wide receivers. It's not a deep room like quarterbacks. So make sure you read every team's situation and make sure you get yourself a good running back. 2 of them to be exact. Now, as we close with our By the Way segment, congratulations to Spain's, the women's, the Royal Spanish football team. Spain won the World Cup, but Olga Carmona, who scored the winning goal, got some sad news afterwards. Unfortunately, that her father passed away. So condolences to her and her family. The quote of the day comes from the Real Madrid. As they say, we deeply regret that we must announce the death of Olga Carmona's father. The woman was celebrating only to find out that her father passed. Again, condolences. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, folks. I am on social media on Facebook at Sam I Analyze, the gram at Sam I Analyze, on le Twitter at Sam I Analyze. Please like, subscribe, and folks, you see that notification bell to the right? Please like and please hit that. That will let you know the next time I drop another video. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. We will be doing wide receivers, tight ends. Have a good rest of your day. And as always, à tout à l'heure.